Well, 11 attorneys general are letting the Obama administration know exactly what they think of the changes to Obamacare. In a letter to Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, they wrote, quote, "The fix is flatly illegal under federal constitutional and statutory law. We support allowing citizens to keep their health insurance coverage, but the only way to fix this problem, written law, is to enact changes lawfully through congressional action." We are joined by one of those attorneys general, Patrick Morrisey of West Virginia. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. Great to be on your program.
In this letter, and we're glad to have you, are you asserting that in order to fix a flawed law, that a law is being broken by our president?
I think what we're saying here is that the president has consistently overstepped his bounds and is not respecting separation of powers. What happened here, Elizabeth, is in this case, the president issued through his HHS and his agencies, issued these so-called administrative fixes. And that violated the law in two specific areas. One, it violated what's called the Take Care Clause. The president has the obligation to execute the laws faithfully. He can't just issue this blanket discretion that he's not going to interpret or not going to oversee the law effectively. Second, you can't just make up the rules as you go along. If you want to change a specific provision, you have to go back to Congress, or in certain instances, you can issue a new rulemaking, but that has to be compliant with the Administrative Procedures Act. The administration has done neither of those, and that's why what they've done is clearly in violation of the law.
Sure, and I think what you're referring to, the Obamacare executive actions so far, we have a list of them. There was a delay of the employer mandate.
Right.
There was another delay for pre-existing conditions right now, small business exchange delay, congressional staffers exemption. Certainly these are riling people up. But shouldn't Congress, isn't this issue almost bigger than Obamacare? Shouldn't Congress be concerned? And Harry Reid isn't. He said, I am fine to have the president basically do the job of Congress. Shouldn't they be concerned that this is like king rule?
Well, look, I think that Congress always needs to do its job, and that's what one of the purposes of this letter was all about. The fact is that I think Senator Reid needs to focus on doing some of the things that are difficult. It's not easy to get things done through Congress, but the nation counts on Congress to respect the rule of law and to respect the separation of powers. When people look to the federal government, they don't want to see a culture of lawlessness. They want to make sure that you're going through the right process. You pass something through both houses of Congress, and then a president signs it into law. Unfortunately, we're seeing time after time after time that the president is sidestepping this requirement, and that is very disconcerting.
Just to be clear before we go, sir, I want to make sure that everyone knows you are in favor of people keeping the plans that they were promised that they could keep. It's just the how that you're concerned with, correct?
That's right. The fact is that I think all of the attorneys general who signed the letter certainly support allowing people to keep the plan that they had. This administration, this implementation has been an absolute disastrous rollout. But we want to make sure that people get to keep their coverage. We just want people to go through the right mechanisms. When you have a problem in the law and you have flaws, you have to go back to Congress and fix the problem. You can't make it up as you go along.
Well, you heard it from the West Virginia Attorney General, Patrick Morrisey. We thank you for being with us this morning.